Jo Leute, herzlich willkommen zurück zu Fire Emblem Three House in der Dimitri-Route. Ja, wir sind jetzt offiziell im Timeskip. Dürfen jetzt ein bisschen uns hier mit Banditen rumschlagen. Tja, und dann schauen wir mal, was noch so passiert. Gut, dass ich die relativ gut gelevelt habe. Meine Charaktere. Dann haben wir jetzt nicht so das Problem. Ach, cool. Oh, da ist er.
His Highness and Professor, we must speak later.
Oh, Ash ist da.
I know it's been 5 years, but I never expected the monastery to end up like this.
Oh, Lisitia. Ah, Lisitia, sag ich. Mercedes. So.
I haven't seen any of you in such a long time. I'm so glad to see you're alive.
Annette.
We'll help out from here. It's over, thieves.
Why? Why are you here? My orders?
I'd be honored.
Brilliant.
I'm your girl. At your service.
So, 32 Thronschlüssel nehme ich gerne. Ah. Ja, Assassine sind echt hart, echt heftig. Ah.
The monastery has become a nest of thieves.
Professor, you're alive after all. But first things first. Let's defeat these thieves.
I'll lend a hand. We'll catch up later.
Listen up. We must end this quickly.
Ja.
We can't be careless. My word. Ready when you are.
Ach Mann, ernsthaft.
I'll cut through.
Digga, die Assassinen machen ja überhaupt keinen Spaß.
What's the plan?
to the north and south. We'll split into two and tear them apart.
Okay.
Thank you.
Na gut, und hier sind ja einige Schätze. Deswegen die würde ich schon ganz gerne mitnehmen. Na, schade, hätte ich klappen können.
Nice try.
There is still this
Wow.
Is this my last stand?
Krass. Trotz Kriegerschwert so geballert. Respekt. Ah, eine Silberlanze, cool. Ja, da stirbt er auf jeden Fall durch, deswegen. Nett.
At your service.
You're a big help.
Where have you been the last fight?
So, Vorrat. Wir haben noch locker einen Türschlüssel. Panzerbrecher, okay. Ich glaube, Dimitri wird komplett rasieren, ey, ohne Witz. Der ist jetzt schon so hart, heftig, ey. So. Verfluchtes. Ah. Okay. Ach, dann haben wir auch noch. Hat wer noch Truhen? Schlüssel? Ich glaube nicht, ne? Doch, er noch.
I needed that. Be careful.
Fancy. Sorry.
So.
Thanks.
Dann ist der auch besiegt. Und den noch einmal und dann da ist das dann auch schon. Ja, da haben wir nämlich alle Truhen etc. Ja, die Axt. Könnte vielleicht noch gut werden.
No, I'm not the one you want.
Ach komm, really.
It isn't looking good for him.
Wirklich, der will so abhauen? Die kommt doch sowieso nicht weiter.
Use? I thought it would be easy money.
Nö. Wenn du gegen Dimitri kämpfst, ist gar nichts easy. Der Typ zerlegt dich komplett. Digga, das ist Ein-Mann-Armee. Wenn du den als Feind hast, hast du verloren. Du bist tot. Ende. No Chance. Na, sorry, dass Annette so schnell gestorben ist. Diese blöden Assassinen, ey.
I'm so glad you're both safe.
Why are you here?
Did you forget? We all made a promise on this very day 5 years ago.
Dimitri, weren't you the one who asked that we all meet up here?
Don't be silly. Of course you remember our promise. That's why you and the professor are here, right?
Your Highness, I have been following news of your whereabouts for a while now. I am relieved to have finally found you.
Do
Ah, die
not
Duo
call
fehlt
me
noch.
that. I am not a prince, but a walking corpse.
Ach, kann sein, dass er tot ist, ne? Ja, eigentlich
That
nicht.
is what we all believed, but it is not so. I can see with my own eyes that you are alive, Your Highness. But the jail cells in Ferdiat are as solid as they come. How did you manage to...
do? He's dead. He died in my place.
I see. We will be sure to honor his loyalty, Your Highness. As for the state of the kingdom, the lords from the western regions have declared their fealty to the Empire, starting with House Rowe. Cornelia's band of traitors now refers to kingdom territory as the Fargus Dukedom. They've made Ferdiad their stronghold as they continue to invade the eastern region. There is much to tell you. I will explain everything in time.
Well, it's not like all of the kingdom's lords have sided with the Empire. There are plenty of houses, like mine and Felix's, that remain stubbornly opposed.
Your Highness, please allow us to take up arms at your side once more. What we need more than anything isn't soldiers, money, or supplies. We need the legitimate heir of Fargus to overthrow the Empire and reclaim the kingdom. Such is your duty. It is yours alone to bear, and well worth fighting for. Only you can gather our troops and lead us back into the light.
I see. So, you all agree that we must fight back. And you see how that woman, how the Empire cannot be forgiven. That we must wipe them all out until not a single one of them remains.
Wipe them all out? I don't think any of us here are suggesting anything that extreme.
Professor, there is something I would like to ask you. Please, join me inside the monastery. To think you survived under all that rubble for the past 5 years. I suppose stranger things have happened, odd as that is to admit. There is still much I would like to ask you, but I think that's enough for now. On that day 5 years ago, during the battle with the Imperial Army, Lady Rhea went missing. Since then, the Knights of Seiros have continued searching for her. And for you, I hear they have yet to find any promising leads. As the Empire has yet to release a statement, it's hard to imagine that she has perished. And yet... No, never mind. Once news of your survival gets out, everyone will flock back to the monastery. After that battle, a certain incident took place in Ferdiad. Rufus, who was serving as King Regent, was murdered. I was once a knight in service of the royal family. I resigned from the Knights of Seiros and returned to serve the kingdom. However... This is madness. You truly claim that His Highness is the one who killed Rufus?
Oh, but it's true. The only one who could slip past the bodyguards and kill so efficiently is the young prince. You can't deny it.
Rufus is Prince Dimitri's uncle. His Highness is incapable of such an atrocious crime as murdering his own blood.
Ah, but they were never very close, were they? It's a well-known fact among former retainers. There are even rumors that Rufus was originally involved in the tragedy of Dusker. Perhaps His Highness believed those rumors and murdered Rufus in a fit of rage. But I'm afraid none of that matters now.
Cornelia, do not tell me that you...
The decision has been made. His Highness will pay for his crime with his head. His sentence will be carried out the day after tomorrow. On that day, the royal bloodline will come to an end. All you have left to do is sit back and watch, you senile old fool. Watch as the kingdom you love falls to ashes.
It was soon after announced that his sentence had been carried out. With His Highness's death, the royal bloodline of House Blathid was erased from this world. True to her word, all we could do was watch as she tore the kingdom apart before our eyes. Since the execution and the prince's corpse were concealed from the public, there have always been those who believed His Highness was still alive. As for myself, I only began to hope 3 years ago, when I chanced upon some compelling rumors. An Imperial platoon attacked without warning. Incident after incident of Imperial generals being slaughtered in Kingdom territory. It is said each died in such a brutal, gruesome way
Dimitri.
that it is hard to imagine they were killed by human hands. I followed the rumors to location after location. Eventually, I had seen enough. I knew the rumors were true. Finally, after a half-decade of torment, it happened. I found him. I fear his deep hatred and the weight of his solitude have consumed him for far too long. We must bring him back from the edge on which he stands. To that end, I must speak with His Highness. I imagine it will not be a quick or easy conversation. I pray that he is of a mind to speak of such things. I am certain that my words will... never mind. What must be done, must be done. I would wager that you are weary after the day's events. Perhaps you should take this opportunity to get some rest.
Krasser Scheiß. Tja, da wird Cornelia auf jeden Fall der Endboss sein. Also nicht Endboss, aber schon ein krasser Boss werden, bestimmt. Wird lustig. Dimitri wird die auf jeden Fall töten. Kann ich jetzt schon versprechen.
The delusional prince. Prince Dimitri and the remnants of the royal army join with the remaining knights of Seiros to form a revitalized kingdom army. Using Garreg Mach as their base of operations, they rise to action against the Empire.
Okay. Tja, aber wir machen jetzt weiter Unterricht etc. da, ne? Ah, weiß nicht, bin ich kein Freund von.
You? So you were alive after all.
Professor, it is so good to see you again. My brother and I were worried about you.
Gilbert told us everything. We are at your disposal.
Does my heart well to see that all of you are safe. Now that we have all gathered, let's discuss our next course of action.
We have two objectives: to overthrow the Empire and to rescue Rhea. I have no objection to joining forces with you. After all, our interests are aligned.
Nothing could be more reassuring than securing the cooperation of the Knights of Seiros.
The Archbishop entrusted all of her affairs to you. From now on, I shall comply with your wishes.
We'll make Garreg Mach our base, and prepare to make our stand against the Empire. There is a fair amount of damage, but we will at least have shelter from the wind and rain. Garreg Mach may be a strategic location, but it's too far from the front lines to be worthy of notice at the moment. This area is inconvenient as far as transport time is concerned, so it's of little importance to their war effort.
Even so, nothing slips past the Emperor. It is safe to assume she at least has this place under surveillance.
Professor, what do you think about making this place our base? Fortunately, there are still villages and hamlets nearby, and though I wouldn't call them abundant, we have war funds as well. What do you think, Your Highness?
Do as you please.
Hey, don't act like this doesn't concern you. Finally reunited after all this time.
Okay.
We've got to work together.
She's right. In fact, why don't we all join forces and clean this place up a bit?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. And it'll give us time to reminisce about all the good old days at the academy. I can't wait.
How carefree of you.
It may sound trivial, but... well,
Digga, Dimitri will einfach nur killen.
I understand feeling impatient, Your Highness, but patience is key at a time like this. If we fix up our base, it will improve morale, which will be sorely needed as we...
Fools. Stay out of this.
Please, calm yourself, Your Highness. We are not your enemies.
My enemies say the same.
What happened to him? It's like he's a completely different person.
I feel so bad for him. Would it help if I brewed him a nice pot of tea?
I cannot claim to understand how he feels. However, the way he's behaving, it's as though he's being haunted by some unseen force. As am I.
Na gut, er will einfach nur töten, ne? Lasst ihn einfach Leute töten.
Do you have a moment, Professor? I need to speak with you. Thank you so much. This is what I wanted to address. This letter from my adoptive father just arrived.
Oh, in die Switch getreten, ey.
Oh, have I not mentioned him? He's the reason I first came to the Officers' Academy. He's also the one who dragged me from the church where I was living, just so he could use my crest. My crest does not yet belong to a house, so he plans to use it as leverage to marry into the nobility. He's a very greedy man who was a roving merchant before adopting me, but now he's in the capital. This letter says that he's finally arranged to marry me off to a wealthy noble. I know he's just thinking of himself, but can't he see that this isn't a priority when we're at war? I don't know what to do about this proposal. I can't see any way around it, so I fear that I must. I just don't want to let go of the life that I've made for myself. I know it's not what my heart wants, but I don't have the strength to say no. I believe I've mentioned this before, but I want to work in service of the church. Well, I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to be the church, but I want to help those in need. If I were to marry a noble, I think it would be difficult to realize that dream. It's just, I've always allowed myself to follow the whims of those above me. I convinced myself that everything in life was at the will of the goddess. I was blind to reality. I believed it was her will to both pull me from the church and guide me to the Officers' Academy. The decision to enter this war was the first time I acted of my own free will. My adoptive father opposed this decision, but I somehow managed to convince him. Still, I couldn't free myself of him completely. This letter is proof of that. It's not that I'm scared of him, but there is something that worries me. I knew you'd understand, Professor. I've sat down to write a reply several times, but I can't muster up the courage or the words. I was hoping you could provide me with the encouragement I need. That's a very good point. We're only given one life, so we must do all we can to pursue our happiness. Okay. I think that may have been just the push I was looking for. I'll tell him the truth. That I found a life worth pursuing, and I must decline the proposal. Maybe I should tell him I've fallen for someone else. Why, it's you, Professor.
War klar.
Isn't that obvious?
Offensichtlich jetzt nicht gerade. Ja.
I'm just teasing. Now I'm off to write this letter and stand my ground. Thank you for your encouragement.
Ja gut, wir haben A-Rang, so, das heißt, ich könnte sie heiraten, ja. Blumen geben. Ultima Sequel. Gucken wir doch mal. Tja. Ja, alles klar. Oberstufe kann sie nicht, aber Ultima-Stufe. Kann sie wirklich? Was? Digga, was? Digga. Als ob, Alter. Einfach mal Oberstufe einfach mal übersprungen. Krasser Scheiß. So. Sie machen jetzt eine Bischof. Passt zu Jakob. Ja. Tja, Gilbert ist jetzt, glaube ich, einfach der Dedo-Ersatz. Ja, so sieht's aus, Leute. Wisst ihr was? Wir machen noch eine kurze Erkundungsreihe und dann war's das. Wobei. Wie können wir denn noch quatschen? Na gut, speichern können wir auch so, ne? Nee, gut. Ich mach Schluss. Sorry. Eieiei, also Dimitri ist krass drauf. Ich bin gespannt, wie sich das noch entwickeln wird. Ja. Ich hoffe, es gefällt euch. Wenn dem so ist, gebt dem Video doch einen Daumen nach oben und abonniert meinen Kanal, falls ihr es noch nicht getan habt. Und aktiviert die Glocke. Lohnt sich, es kommen 2 Videos pro Tag nämlich raus und dadurch verpasst ihr nichts. Ja, dadurch unterstützt und motiviert ihr mich weiter durchzuziehen. Und ja, ansonsten war's das dann eigentlich auch. Wir sehen uns dann im nächsten Part von Fire Emblem Three House wieder. Ich bin mega gespannt, wie sich das noch alles entwickeln wird. Sag ich ganz ehrlich, ne? Krass. Wirklich. Kann's eigentlich kaum abwarten. Na gut. Aber ich muss die Parts halt immer ein bisschen kürzer machen, ansonsten dauert das ewig, bis ich die alle vorproduziert habe und so. Deswegen muss ich immer so auf einen halben Stundentakt machen. Und es wurde halt öfters von euch ja gewünscht, dass ich die Parts halt kürzer mache. Klappt nicht immer, aber wenn ich so mache, kann ich das ein bisschen bestimmen. Naja, gut. So, jetzt war es aber wirklich. Leute, vielen, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Haut rein und ciao.